I got a new setup, new camera setup, so you will be seeing more of Backwards Saji. Say hi, Backwards Saji. He's a little bit shy. Happy New Year, everybody. Just like some of you, I'm sure, I'm excited to make some changes in my life to improve my future. By way of New Year's resolutions, of course. But one thing I thought I'd be leaving in 2025 will be making it stay this year. And that is reviewing right-wing journalists who literally have no idea what they're doing, don't have any background in journalism, zero credibility or skill, but somehow still have more influence than some of the most famous celebrities on this planet. Listen, I want to be happy. I want to do Minecraft Let's Plays, mukbangs. But when dangerous people like this are roaming the streets trying to scapegoat entire groups of people, something needs to be done. I'm like a Pokemon trainer for some of the most stupid people on the planet. Gotta catch them all. Speaking of catching them all, today we're talking about Nick Shirley, another YouTube journalist who made a video where he tried to catch all the kids. Now, I'm sure you've heard about Nick or this story recently. I ended my holiday early just so I could get on top of this because it is everywhere. And it's a giant pile of steaming hot conservative horseshit, which it usually is. I guess there's no surprise there. New year, same white boys who think they're doing God's work. Got anything to say, God? Can we, I don't know, change up the script a little bit? The writing is almost as bad as the new season of Stranger Things. Now, just to give a quick overview of everything going on for those of you that don't know, Trump is in the Epstein files. Oh, I'm sorry, did we forget about that already? Well, in case you didn't, the Trump administration is cooking up more distractions so that you forget what is actually important. In this instance, those distractions are targeting the Somali population in Minnesota. There's a lot of fraud going on, specifically in Minnesota healthcare and childcare facilities, and has been for some time now. But for whatever reason, people feel the need to scapegoat an entire group of people, which brings me to Nick Shirley, who recently released a video titled, I investigated Minnesota's billion-dollar fraud scandal. So today, we're going to investigate this investigation to see how substantial Nick's journalism really is, and what kind of fraud he's talking about. But before we get into that, a quick word from our sponsor, Cape. I literally have no idea who has access to my data and information. In the height of the technological age, instead of celebrating the advancements we're making, I'm scared of what they could do. We've talked about protection on this channel plenty, and with the rise of tech oligarchs and their hunger for our data and information, proper technological safety is more pertinent now than ever before. This is where the sponsor of today's video, Cape, comes in. While many people use tools like VPNs or encrypted messaging apps, app-based solutions can't fix a problem rooted at the network level. Attacks like SIM swaps, surveillance voicemail hacking, and metadata leaks happen below the surface where traditional privacy tools can't reach. VPNs are great for peace of mind, but people have adapted and we need something better. Enter Cape. Cape is a secure mobile carrier that was created by experts in telecom, cybersecurity, and national security, so you can trust them in not only providing premium cell service, just like AT&T and Verizon, but also to keep you and your data private. A big part of this trust is built right at the beginning of the process. How can Cape give away your information if they know nothing about you in the first place? Cape's onboarding process requires little to no information about yourself, so you won't be giving your name or social security number. Cape offers a plethora of different tools like encrypted voicemails, private payment, enhanced signaling protection, and their newest addition, identifier rotation. Every SIM card has a unique identifier, which your device uses to register with cellular networks called an International Mobile Subscriber ID. Usually, you would have a fixed ID, making it easier for your carrier, advertisers, and bad actors to identify and track your device over time. But Cape lets subscribers automatically rotate their ID every 24 hours, making you look like a different subscriber every day. This makes it much more difficult for anyone to breach through and track you and your activity. Cape is a trusted network carrier that ensures your technological safety and protection. If you want to try Cape, click the link in my description and use code SAJI33 for 33% off the first 6 months. And thank you, Cape, for sponsoring this video. The video starts off with an overview of all of the fraud taking place in Minnesota. This section gives us a good taste of how credible the rest of the video will be. And here's a hint. Not very credible at all. Nick believes this fraud is being done through a massive and complicated scheme involving childcare and healthcare facilities that are set up just to receive billions in government funding. And by blaming the billions of dollars being stolen as a Somali immigrant problem, He is therefore saying that we should get rid of all of the Somali immigrants. But he fails to mention a crucial detail. Nick briefly brings up the Feeding Our Future scam, one of the largest pandemic fraud cases in the United States.
These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes.
He shows pictures of Somali immigrants who have been incriminated in this case, but leaves out the ringleader of this whole entire operation. And surprise, surprise, it's a white lady named Amy Bach. Really convenient to leave out such an important individual involved in one of the biggest fraud cases in Minnesota history. Isn't it, Nick? On top of leaving out crucial information that doesn't seem to fit Nick's agenda, he also just straight up lies in the beginning of his video.
Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab.
The Al-Shabaab. Why do all right-wing journalists narrate like this is their first time reading? Look at that, he's sounding out his words. This seems like the person we should trust to deliver this information. While there were Somalis involved in the Feeding Our Future fraud case, there is no evidence that defendants were sending any money or supporting terrorist organizations at all.
U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson confirmed at that press conference on the 18th that there is no evidence that defendants were sending money to or otherwise supporting terrorist organizations.
This is Alicia Miller's video. She does a great job debunking a lot of big points in this whole controversy, and she lives in Minnesota, so please check it out if you have a chance. Anyway, the video actually starts now, and Nick introduces the main source for all of the information of his video. And I'll give him some credit here. This person is actually a very reliable source.
And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this.
Just kidding. Who is David? Who the fuck is David? Are you kidding me? If you fell for this video, then you're getting your information from a man named Nick Shirley, who talks like he's an alien learning English for the first time.
He's been doing his own investigation.
Who's getting his information from a man named David, who looks like Tim Robinson in prosthetics. Is this all one big joke, Nick? Are you scamming me? Let's give David the benefit of the doubt here. Sure, he's a random civilian who's obsessed with defaming the Somali people, but let's hear some of his facts.
And you heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion.
Okay, so this one is not true. The alleged fraud to date is closer to $250 million, not anywhere near 8 billion, but okay.
Where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these childcare centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare, and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play?
Okay, this is a little strange. David didn't see any kids outside the daycare. Maybe because the daycare is an indoor facility, not an outdoor one. I don't know. I wanted to cut David some slack here. You know, he's got that friendly Minnesotan accent, but it just sounds like he's spewing conspiracies with a touch of racial bias, maybe? David straight up talks about how Minnesotan people are afraid of being labeled as racist or Islamophobes. To then be racist and an Islamophobe.
The people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. Okay, so we have to be careful because these people are very violent. They're exceptionally violent.
So it doesn't seem like this David guy is very credible and is just some random racist conspiracy theorist that Nick picked up off the street, who I'm still convinced is Tim Robinson doing a sketch. Already, this is feeling like standard right-wing journalism. But let's see if they handle things any better on the ground.
Between the two of these childcare centers, they're pulling in about $3 million a year, and there are no children. Every facility as you go to, the windows will be blocked out so you can't see in. There's nobody here. You won't see a single child at any of these facilities.
Sorry, do you want to see the children?
There are indeed no windows. All the windows are blacked out right here. All right, let's go in.
No.
And the child care center is locked.
Ah, shocker. The child care center is locked. In a country with the most school shootings in the world. I wonder why. We're just getting started, and already this is some of the worst journalism I've ever seen.
This is another daycare center, absolutely no signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside.
what? Yes, the children aren't playing outside in the freezing cold, so therefore, they're not real. Sure, it's a weekday, but this video came out during the holiday season, so we don't even know if they're open. And if they are, we don't know the hours.
How can there be nobody here and it's like this every single day? I've never seen a single child here. In 9 years, I've never seen a single child at this building.
Old Tim Robinson, you're starting to sound a little bit creepy. Can we relax, please? After about 2 minutes of checking the door and harassing a random person, who I guess they assume is in on all the fraud because they look like they're Somali?
Hello, is this your daycare?
No. Can you tell us why there are no children? Have you ever seen children at this child care center?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here decide to head to the next location.
And here in Minnesota, if you take a look at the Minnesota state flag, they recently changed it, and it very much so resembles the flag of Somalia.
Okay, well, that's just propaganda. Minnesota held a statewide vote on which flag to use for the state. And if the majority of the people decided on a flag that looked like the Somali flag, I mean, you gonna fault them?
This facility is licensed for 40 children. 0 children. I've come by this place 100 times. I've never seen a child here, ever.
Oh, you've come by this place 100 times, huh? A little suspicious if you ask me.
What's crazy about this is that last daycare center is that green building right there. And the other daycare center right now is right here.
Nick just truly has a way with words. The daycare where we at right there, daycare right now, right here. Both Nick and David tend to do this thing throughout the video where they reference each childcare facility's number of licensed children that they're allowed to have. Except these two think that that number represents the number of children that the daycares have to have at all times.
This facility is licensed for 40 children. It says it's licensed for 74 children.
74 children,
I've
no
lived my
children.
whole place being licensed for 99 children.
No, that's the max number of children the daycares can have. Maximum 40 or maximum 74. It doesn't mean you have to have 74 children at all times. That would be fucking insane.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone?
Yeah, call a professional, because you need the help. Now, this is the clip that actually went viral from this whole video. It garnered millions of views across platforms and is what the majority of people are seeing in relation to Nick Shirley. Nick and David are at a daycare facility called Quality Learning Center, where they have actually spelt learning incorrectly. They try to open the door, but of course, it's locked.
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Now, the virality of this clip, as well as the crucial information Nick decides to leave out, is indicative of the true intention of this video in its entirety. Revealed in an interview with CNN, Nick admits that he showed up to this daycare around 11 a.m.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe.
You see this little paper on the door that Nick seems to completely ignore? That piece of paper has all the hours of operation for this daycare. And guess what the hours are? Not 11 a.m., I'll tell you that much. A TikToker named Simple Black Theory made a few videos debunking this clip and Nick's attempted smear campaign. I highly recommend checking him and his content out. But this is basically the whole video. Nick is going from daycare to daycare to healthcare facility just to get turned down and locked out, with the exception of a couple instances. But for whatever reason, Nick seems to be confused as to why he's consistently getting turned down from all of these facilities, and why people are acting defensively, when he just wants to enroll his son Joey into daycare.
Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare.
Well, besides straight up harassing people, he seems to be forgetting that he's literally rolling around with a posse. Not just Nick, David, and a cameraman, but 2 fully covered bodyguards as well. They look so threatening, in fact, that they got the cops called on them.
We received a complaint that, gentlemen matching your description, were in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers that everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So
He's here with some kind of like propaganda.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly what he's doing. And right after getting told to leave, they go to another office building to do the same thing, which at this point is basically nothing. They're basically just walking around and reading words, or trying to.
Eritrean Youth Development Association of Minnesota.
Yes! Those were the right words. Great job, Nick. Maybe you should enroll in one of the daycares. Anyway, I'm skipping to the end of the video because he just does more harassment and interrogation of random fucking people. But at the end of the video, Nick goes to the state capitol and questions the politicians.
How come you think fraud has been able to happen so much underneath?
I think if you've
government
been
here.
listening to our hearings, we've had now 10 hearings on this. And so there's really good data from the people who both work within the administration as well as who, both Democrat and Republicans. I think what you heard today is that the Republicans who control this committee are not actually interested in solving fraud. What they're interested in is telling a story.
This fraud has happened underneath Democrat leader Tim Walz.
There has been Medicaid fraud across the country under Democrats and Republicans. There's fraud within the Trump administration.
This representative brings up a very good point. Fraud has been occurring in Minnesota and this country since before Tim Walz. So to now be speaking out against fraud, but only when it pits everyone against one group of people, is disingenuous. Let's be so honest here. Nick Shirley and people like him don't actually care about fraud. Because if they did, they wouldn't support Trump, the largest fraudster of them all. Tell me, Nick, is it ethical to sell merch based on, in your eyes, a mass fraud campaign? I don't know. This doesn't feel right to me. Nick is not a journalist. He's not even a good YouTuber. Out of all of the right-wing journalism videos I've seen, this ranks as one of the worst, and that is very hard to do. Nick is being used as a pawn for the broader Republican goal, which is ultimately to shift the voters in Minnesota from blue to red. How are they doing that? By creating outrage, villainizing an outgroup. There's already ICE in Minnesota, federal agents have been deployed, and now the Trump administration is freezing childcare payments. Listen, I empathize with David here. He has a reason to be upset. He has a reason to look for answers, but this meme sums it up nicely. The majority of fraud is committed by the wealthy, not by your neighbor. Fraud is not a partisan issue, it's not a race issue, it is a class one.
Like the notion that, hey, a certain batch of Somalis got caught, so all of them support it, it's like, no. No one, if in any community, any mishaps that happen, the rest of the community obviously doesn't want that to happen. It's a stain on all of our names, as you guys can see.
This is Ibrahim Ali, the son of the owner of the viral daycare center that Nick Shirley decided to plaster all over his merch. And he's absolutely right. This is the same racist rhetoric and right-wing propaganda that feels so obviously see-through, but is a method that is tried and true. Nick Shirleys are going to keep popping up, but it stays massively important to love thy neighbor. Pretty sure it says that in the Bible, right? Donald Trump and the wealthy businessmen and tech giants want us to keep fighting each other. Why give that to them? And also, Trump is in the Epstein files. This stuff has real-world implications, and being aware of distraction versus due diligence is more important now more than ever. In the time I spent making this video, Renee Good, an innocent bystander, was shot and killed by an ICE agent in the streets of Minneapolis, Minnesota. If ICE agents are willing to kill an unarmed white woman in broad daylight, imagine what they do to people of color behind closed doors. We're seeing mass government policing, the terrorizing of US citizens, and videos like Nick Shirley's are only used as a means to distract and direct anger elsewhere, instead of focusing on the issues actually affecting Americans of all kinds. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Consider becoming a channel member to support the channel and extra perks like new videos early. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.